Welcome to International Politics, your number one source for commentaries, political and non-political jokes, fake free news, and that info you need for that research paper due tomorrow. Fake news. We've heard it, we've seen it everywhere. President Trump calling out CNN at Jim Acosta, "You are fake news." Or, Fox News calling out other mainstream media. So what's this debate about fake news all about? Why are we hearing about all of this? So in order to delve into this topic, we need to talk about how this came to be. Who coined the term fake news? Well, I'm sure most of you already know. President Donald Trump coined that term a couple months ago when he was ranting against the newspapers, posting biased stories against him. And so most of the times when an outlet like CNN or NBC posts a bad story about Trump, or retaliate saying it's fake news and stuff, and then CNN will defend itself saying that they're just doing their job. I mean, who's right, who's wrong? How are we supposed to tell? According to Fox News, which generally does leave quite conservative and sometimes is seen as a more fair and non-biased outlet, um, CNN and NBC are referred to as what you call the mainstream media. Mainstream media, that is basically every other news outlet out there that's against Trump. Um, and it's really like it's like versus 10. One is like just Fox News versus 10 other you know news outlets out there. All right, so now let's argue from President Trump's standpoint. According to him, every news outlet out there is fake and has biased news against him. Is he wrong? Well, not necessarily, because well, if you remember in the election, all those news outlets predicted Hillary Clinton would win. She had an 80% lead over President Trump with a 6% popularity rating. All those polls, and let's face it, those polls are biased. I've taken AP statistics, took AP stats, a year ago, and we've learned that those news outlets are quite misleading. Those polls they put out, if you've seen those margin of errors, they're like 8%, and that's huge when it's like a 40, 50-50 race. And so also, those news outlets aren't reporting the audience that they're polling, the population they're polling from. It could just be CNN viewers who generally tend to be more liberal. Or it could just be people they randomly found, not in a systematic order, but just in a biased manner. And so those outlets were all wrong, completely wrong. Fox came close. They projected President Trump at a 40% victory. That was the closest they got. But those media outlets were completely wrong. They were baffled. President Trump called them out the next day, saying they were all fake and biased. And I guess he does have a point. They were completely wrong. Before we go into Russia and all that stuff, I mean, let's not talk about that. That should be for another video. But before we delve into the other details, the facts are there, and those news outlets were wrong, completely wrong. And so President Trump does have the right to say that. But it's not just that one thing. If we've noticed recently many times, outlets, especially CNN, they'll report everything they put out is breaking news. Every new little detail they get in, they say, if you look at it, it's true. Every news article they post out now is breaking news. President Trump has just been called out by some other internet troll for being a bad president. I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's like, meanwhile, people over at Fox are actually reporting real news. Like a couple weeks ago, there was that one baby that had to be transported over to the U.S. due to life-threatening diseases and stuff. And I mean, that's real news. But like every time I look at CNN, it's like every single thing they post is about something Trump, something fake news, something new Russia thing. I mean, can't you just wait until the whole story comes out before you just start putting random stuff out there? The titles are all misleading. One title will say Trump gives a mildly well-received speech, and then Fox News or other places will report that Trump delivers a speech. Just the fact that he just delivered a speech. But then CNN will go out there and say, "Oh, it was a bad speech." They're subtly put that into their titles and stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. I mean, they have the right to do that, but if you do that every single time, it just doesn't look really. I mean, people aren't really going to believe that anymore. And don't get me wrong, Fox does that sometimes also. There's so many examples out there. Just look at their titles. Go to foxnews.com and look it up. It's like that everywhere, but sometimes that bias gets a little out of hand, and it really does, I guess you can say, brainwash people. So enough about Trump. Now let's look at the quote mainstream media's stance on this. So President Trump has been very aggressive, I guess you could say, in his post on Twitter, especially. Um, you know, a couple weeks ago, he posted that video. It wasn't even him who did it, but a Reddit troll, I'm pretty sure, a Reddit guy, posted a video, of Trump beating up CNN. Obviously, it was CNN, that logo cropped over Vince McMahon's head. I mean, it's pretty funny, I mean, how is that that offensive? Obviously, that CNN views as another attack on, uh, the network by Trump, and so of course they get pretty pissed. But now, don't forget, a couple weeks ago when Kathy Griffin posted that picture of Donald Trump, that disgusting photo. I mean, you saw how Trump reacted. Obviously, he was pretty offended, but then those news media outlets were saying that, oh, it's no big deal. It's just a photo. Uh, don't be such a wuss. Just take it. But here they are getting so on so called triggered by a couple posts. Now, going back to their side, that was one photo posted of Trump. Now, the amount of times that Trump has offended news media outlets has been astonishing. I'm pretty sure it's like he's mentioned fake news about 40 times, I think, this week or something, or this month. But it's pretty rough, I guess. Just getting hammered by the president every single day on everything you post. Um, and I mean, as a news outlet, they really should, I guess, be reporting on new things they find. So if they catch up on something, then a lot of times they won't fact check it that often and just post it. I mean, mistakes do happen, but I don't think it's fair to just completely, bash them every single time they post a bad article. Maybe if they post a really bad article, yeah, okay, go after them, but not every single time if it's a small mistake. Um, the Russia thing, yeah, that's really rough. I don't even know who's right, who's wrong. Is Trump right? Is Trump wrong? CNN, I don't know. But let's just say the mainstream media, or just most. I'm not gonna say mainstream because that makes me seem like I'm against, news. No, I'm completely unbiased against all of this. I'm not leaning toward one side or the other. But we'll call it the majority. The majority of news outlets, you know, um, have seized up on the Russia thing, and without much credibility, they've just posted stories on them. I don't blame them. They're trying to find some news to report, but I mean, can't just be like Fox and report some, I don't know, actual news instead of just politics every single minute of the day. Kind of gets a little boring if every time you go to CNN it says breaking news, blah blah blah, Trump, Trump, Russia, Russia, Eric, Trump, oh, Jared Kushner. Uh, yeah. But so what are we gonna do about this? I guess the solution I propose is, first of all, Trump, you need to chill with the tweets. Honestly, I mean, I've talked to my congressman who supports President Trump, and I mean, even he, says Trump, you gotta like take it down a notch. Honestly, every single time. I mean, is that really presidential? No. But then again, I can't really blame him as he's really a businessman, more of a president. I mean, wasn't he also a Democrat a couple years ago? Whatever. But that's his. He needs to just stop calling out every time. CNN posts some article. You can't just if you keep on saying that, they're just gonna keep on posting more and more bad articles about you. I mean, what's happening. You're just fighting fire with fire. And the same goes with CNN and other outlets, but mostly CNN because they've taken a lot of hit recently. Mostly CNN, just stop posting all those bad stories. Just maybe do a little more research instead of just posting seizing upon every chance just to get back at the president. Maybe if you play the nice guy and don't fight back like a child, maybe he won't fight back, like a child, because it's just bickering. It's child's play, really. I mean, you saw how mad Jim Acosta was when he was like when he was told like shut up by Trump. Uh, you are fake news. No, I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna give you a question because your news is fake. Your whole organization is disgusting. BuzzFeed, disgusting pile of trash. It's stuff like that. Just maybe if you don't get so offended and just take it like a news reporter. Just don't take it to heart, and it's all gonna be good. Yeah, so I don't think it's very fair to Trump to just every time he sees a bad news article, call it fake news. You know, it's very simple. This whole thing just needs to stop. Just, you know what? Accept that he's our president. If new news, if future news comes in about Russia, then report it at once. Don't just report it in bits by bits, just to brainwash or bring the wrong message to viewers. That's not what the news is about. The news is supposed to provide clear coverage about issues that are prevalent, not every single little detail. It's just so you can get those views and just so you can fill up that time. Report some other stuff, maybe some a health outbreak or something. Wasn't there an outbreak in Georgia a week or two ago? Something about water not being safe. I don't think a lot of news outlets reported that. No, they were too busy discussing Trump's decision to pull out of Paris Climate Agreement and all that stuff. And it's just